Good evening to all the audience of PGurus. I am very delighted to be with you. Here we will see a very interesting type of a discussion for a short period regarding Jallianwala Bagh Massacre and the current Tamil Nadu government and the political parties. Jallianwala Bagh, many of you would remember 1919, April 13th, around April is actually coming, that massacre attempt. Unarmed civilians who assembled there, unarmed civilians were gunned down by the military of Britain, which is one of the barbaric act. It was the largest massacre undertaken at that time, agreed by even the British leaders. Even though the government officially gave a figure of 379 people died and other thing, nobody believed it. So thousands of people were mowed down, and it was supposedly to protect the British government from future rebellion and other things. There was a huge amount of consternation even in Britain among many MPs and other things, who thought that this is extremely barbaric and uncivilized, and this will alienate completely the British government from the common people, which it did actually. In the midst of all this, in order to highlight the barbaric nature of the massacre, Sarojini Naidu went to UK. She, in several places like Manchester, Liverpool, London, was given. She was known that time as popularly called the Nightingale of India. She was giving talks about the horrors committed in this Jallianwala Bagh massacre. But a small group of people, intellectuals they call themselves, were also founders of the Justice Party, Sir Theagaraya Chetty and Dr. T.M. Nair. They justified this Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Let me again repeat it. They justified this Jallianwala Bagh massacre, and then they wrote articles justifying it. And in the name of this Nair, there is a road in Chennai. It is called Dr. Nair Road. And this Theagaraya Chetty is very kind, quote unquote, considered as very renowned. And there is a locality in Chennai named after him, Theagaraya Nagar, T.Nagar, it is also called. It's an extraordinarily shame on the part of India, on the part of Tamil Nadu, to have these two gentlemen's name anywhere in the city or in the state. It's a very unbelievable shame to which we have to bear the cross. Now, the article written by them were not published by the local papers. Many were reluctant, except those which were bootlickers of Britishers, like Madras Mail, Statesman, then Times of India in those days. Very surprisingly, nationalist papers were not wanting to touch it with a barge pole. But they sent it to London Times, and it was published in UK among the elite circle. And they were to say that, look, some of the major intellectuals from India itself is telling that it was a very timely act. Like that they were talking. This is the founders of Justice Party. And Justice Party later on, took several avatars as Dravidian parties, and finally it came into as DMK, today's ruling party. You will be surprised, from 1920 till date, none of the Dravidian offshoots, what you may call the genetically originating from them, their umbilical cord was original Justice Party, have condemned this action of Theagaraya Chetty and Dr. Nair, justifying Jallianwala Bagh massacre. I wish large number of people in Punjab is made known about it, actually. Not only Punjab, all over the country. And not only that, as I told you, there is a locality in Chennai named after this Theagaraya Chetty, and there is a road named after this Nair, and both of them are considered as major, intellectual giants and experts by the current DMK dispensation. It's a great shame. And I am not telling it. That's another interesting thing. There is a Communist Party Marxist leader, one of the founders of CPIM, called P.Ramamoorthy. He was founder along with EMS Namboodiripad in Kerala and other thing. P.Ramamoorthy in 1983 wrote a book called Dravidamaye and Aryamaye. In that book, he mentions about this. The communist leader on pages 32, 33, or he mentioned in detail about it. So if I were to tell people, will say, question me another thing. But P.Ramamoorthy, a giant who cannot be easily questioned, he mentions in his book, Palaniyappa Brothers is the publisher of the book, and this is the type of a treasonable activity undertaken by the earlier ancestors of the current DMK regime. This is something which requires to be widely published and strongly condemned. Sooner we strip the street name of Nair and remove the locality name of this Theagaraya Chetty, better it would be for India and its unity and integrity and sovereignty. Thank you very much.